Good morning, everyone. Our research title is The Customer Satisfaction on Garment Businesses in Antipolo City. Introduction. Since everyone is still in the pandemic, the internet helps to make people's lives convenient. It becomes easy for people to buy necessities online, but it's not always a scenario that people get the correct product. Background of the study. Everyone knows that the COVID-19 pandemic, lockdown, and social distancing have impacted consumer buying and shopping behaviors. Customers are learning to adopt and develop new behaviors. For example, consumers cannot go to the store, so the store comes to home. Because of the new regulations and procedures in the way consumers shop and buy products and services are likely to affect the way they purchase goods and services. Next is the theoretical framework. We have three theories. First is the expectancy value theory. This theory states that consumers tend to criticize the product first before making a decision, specifically its benefits or results once they use it. Consumers begin to think that what would be the impact to them of the product if they purchase it. In relation to the study, consumers used reviews and beliefs as a basis on what possible outcomes that the product could give to reach their expectations. There is a high chance that consumers will be satisfied once they get the results they wanted. Next is the Kano model. This model was first published in 1984 in an article by Professor Kano. The Kano model provided a method to understand the customer's needs, which in turn can be used to create or alter the product and thus help in satisfying the customers. Kano model provided answers to questions like to provide customer satisfaction, which services and what kind of product can be made available to consumers. And the last theory is the expectation confirmation theory. This theory states that consumers' decision to buy the prior services again is based on the experience and outcomes that the products and services provided to consumers after the first purchase. Once consumers are satisfied, they tend to repurchase the product and services. Last is the conceptual framework. The researchers listed the respondents' profile, specifically the age and purchasing methods the respondents usually use as the primary basis of information. As part of the main determinants of the study, the researchers include the respondents' preferred purchasing method in purchasing garments and the respondents' prepared purchasing method in terms of product quality, services, and convenience. The said variables included in the input will be determined through a survey questionnaire as part of the process. The researcher will use survey questionnaires as one way of data gathering, which will be specifically in the form Google form. Another way of data gathering that the researchers will do is internet browsing, since there is still an existing pandemic. The last part of the process will be the analysis and interpretation of data gathered. As the output, the researchers will be crafting a business plan with regards to the research topic. So thank you. Next presenter.
Next to be discussed is a statement of the problem. The following questions are to be answered as we conduct our research. The first question will be a basic information of the respondents, specifically the age and year level. The next question will be in terms of quality of service, quality of product, and convenience. What purchasing method do the respondents like the most? Like when it comes to the convenience, which purchasing method do they like to use? The third one will be between the two purchasing methods, specifically the online purchasing and in-store purchasing, which of these do the respondents feel more satisfied when using it? Next will be the null hypothesis. As we conduct the research, this statement is the one that we want to determine if there's really no difference between the satisfaction felt by the customers using either in-store purchasing or online purchasing. Next one will be the scope and limitation. So we, the researchers, chose the students from College of Business Administration of URS Antipolo to be our respondents. 100 students will be randomly selected from the group. The possible date in conducting this research will be the first 2 months of second semester, still depending on the time when we will be finishing all the necessary documents for us to fully conduct our research. Next is the definition of terms. The following words are the words that are essential and commonly used words in our study. We define garments as different kinds of clothing that we usually buy either in-store or through online shops. In-store purchasing. We define this as a way of buying our clothes in establishments like buying it in a thrift shop or ukay-ukay, where we physically go to the physical store or to the establishment itself. When it comes to online purchasing, we usually use apps like Shopee and Lazada or buy in store that we saw in Instagram and their Facebook. Satisfaction. On our research, we define satisfaction as the sudden feeling of happiness and contentment as we get what we expected.
So now the research design. The researchers will have quantitative research. A quantitative research is the process of collecting and analyzing numerical data. So in quantitative research, there are 4 kinds to be chosen. First, the descriptive, correlational, causal comparative or also known as quasi-experimental, and fourth one, the experimental. Descriptive research is a quantitative research method that attempts to collect quantifiable information for statistical analysis of the population sample. That's why the researchers choose this method to provide a picture of the differences between the two purchasing methods. The two purchasing methods are first, purchasing in a physical store. Second is purchasing through online. This also shows the customer's reaction and reviews in purchasing desired goods, especially garments or clothing, by using the two different purchasing methods. So now the collection of data. Data collection is the process of gathering and measuring information on variables of interest. To gather the data, the researchers will provide questionnaires through online by using Google Form. Next, the subject of the study. The researchers choose the students of University of Rizal System Antipolo Campus, specifically the students from College of Business Administration. 100 students will be chosen, 50 from men and 50 from women. The researchers choose to have a equal number of each category so that we will avoid gender bias. Next, the setting of the study. The study is to be conducted in one of the campuses of the only state university in Rizal, specifically the University of Rizal System Antipolo Campus. So now the location map of the setting of the study. University of Rizal System Antipolo Campus is currently located at Marigman Street, Barangay San Roque, Antipolo City, Rizal, Philippines. As you can see on the screen, there is a map that will lead you to locate University of Rizal System Antipolo Campus. From Shopwise Antipolo as the starting point, up to the University of Rizal System Antipolo campus as the destination.
Next is sources of data. The primary data will be collected using survey as a mode of data collection. To conduct the survey, separate sets of structured questionnaires, specifically in Google Form, would be prepared for 100 chosen students of University of Rizal System Antipolo campus. The researchers will collect data from different studies about customer satisfaction, the facts to be explored through books, magazines, journals, and internet. Next is procedure of the study. First is the observation of the researchers in the situation amidst the pandemic. Next is the brainstorming of the researchers to come up with the idea of satisfaction in purchasing through online or in physical store. Third one is preparation of questionnaires, which is checked and validated by an expert. The fourth is sending of requests for permissions from the respondents before the conduct of the survey. Gathering of data. The collected data will be sent to a statistics center in Morong Rizal. The processed data will then interpret and analyzed by the researchers. The researchers will then provide the conclusions and the recommendations. Next is statistical treatment. The use of descriptive statistics such as frequency, count, mean, percent, and rank is taken into account. A frequency and percentage distribution is a visual representation of data that shows the number of observations for each data point or cluster of data points. The process of constructing a frequency and percentage distribution include calculating the total number of observations within each data point or grouping of data point as well as determining the total number of observations to be presented. And that's all. Thank you for listening.